So good news, you get to do a little bit more math today. We're going to learn about multiplying and dividing inequalities, some exciting stuff. The learning target is I can solve one-step inequalities by multiplying or dividing. So the key concept here, in order to solve one-step multiplication or division inequalities, you can treat it in the same way as you did a one-step multiplication or division equation problem. To solve the one-step multiplication or division inequality, the first thing that we need to do is use the inverse operation to undo whatever is being multiplied or divided to the variable. Okay, so if we have a number and it's being multiplied to the variable, we got to divide it out, and if it's being divided by the variable, then we have to multiply it out. Alright, so then the second thing we do is whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. So if you have to multiply on one side, then you have to multiply that same number on the other side. However, here is the key difference between equations and inequalities in terms of multiplying or dividing them. If you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you must flip the sign. That means that if it was less than, now it's greater than. If it was less than or equal to, now it's greater than or equal to. And it's same thing goes vice versa for both ways. Okay, and then the last step is graph the set of solutions that will make the inequality true. Just like normal, just like what you're used to already doing. Alright, let's do the first example. Alright, example 1 says to solve the inequality 3/4 is less than 12. And then we're supposed to graph the set of solutions, okay? So the very first thing that we need to do here is we need to get rid of this fraction 3/4. And anytime you want to get rid of a fraction of any kind, you just multiply it by the reciprocal, okay? So we're going to multiply it by 4/3. Because if we do that, those are going to cancel out, and we're going to be left with just r, okay? And remember that very important second step there says that if whatever we do to one side, we've got to also do to the other. And so we've got 12 over 1 now, it's the same thing as just 12, multiplied by 4 over 3. And to multiply fractions, we have to cancel out this 3. 3 goes into itself once, 3 goes into 12 4 times, and so 4 times 4 is 16, which means the answer to this inequality is r is less than 16. Okay. Now we also have to graph it. And like always, I am able to magically make a graph appear. So we have, you want to draw your graph too. We have r is less than 16, just like normal. We're going to put a dot at that numerical value of 16 there. It's going to be an open dot because this does not include the value of 16. And r is less than 16. Well, if we look over here, 15 is also less than 16, which means we would want to shade in the left direction. Okay? 17 is not less than 16, so we are not going to shade in that right direction. Now example 2 here says that we need to solve the inequality 84 is greater than or equal to negative 12x. I've rewritten it right here. And anytime the number is being multiplied by the variable, we can divide by negative 12 in order to get rid of it. And 84 divided by negative 12, if you don't know it, you can use your calculator. But all that is actually negative 7. One of them is negative. That means our answer is going to be negative, okay? And we are left with just x on this side. Now remember though, if you multiply or divide by a negative number when you're dealing with inequalities, you have to flip the sign, which means that now, instead of greater than or equal to, it is now less than or equal to. Okay, so it's now negative 7 is less than or equal to x because we divided by a negative. We're going to make that number line appear, and all we have to do is put a dot at the numerical location of negative 7. We have to fill in that dot because it is equal to, and x is greater than negative 7. So if we plug in numbers here, negative 9, if we plug negative 9 in for x, negative 9 is greater than negative 7. Well, that's not true. We know that's not true, so we're not going to shade that direction. Negative 5 is greater than negative 7, so that means we need to shade in the right direction. There we go. That's it. Example 3 says that we have this girl named Jill, and she has a $20 gift card to an art supply store where 4-ounce tubes of paint are $4.30 each after tax. what are the possible numbers of tubes that Jill can buy? So let's follow these steps to solve. The first thing we need to do is answer what do we need to know, and we want to know how the number of tubes Jill can buy. So the number of paint tubes Jill can buy. And if we go back and we underline that important information, we know that she has a $20 gift card and she's trying to buy 4-ounce tubes of paint that are $4.30 each after tax. Okay, so all we have to do now is identify a variable. The thing that's unknown, the thing that we don't know, is how many tubes she bought. So we're going to say 2 is equal to the tubes of paint. And now we can actually form up a inequality, and we know that she is, with her $20 gift card, she is not going to spend more than, it could be equal to that $20 gift card, right? But we also know that the tubes, what they cost is $4.30 each. So $4.30 times the amount of tubes that she buys is going to be less than or equal to that 20. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's move this down and let's solve this inequality here. We've got $4.30 times t is less than or equal to 20. Okay, and now we just have to do a little bit of math. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to divide by $4.30. And we do that because if we do that, that's going to get t by itself. And so we end up getting t is less than or equal to, I don't know if you're like me, but 20 divided by $4.30 is not an easy one to use. So I'm going to say hi to my friend here. I'm going to go 20 divided by 4.3, and I get 4.65. 4.65. For rounding, we're rounding it there. And so what that means then is she can buy anything less than 4.65 tubes. So let's check our work by plugging in a number that's less than 4.65. So we'll use 4 here, and we'll do $4.30 times 4 is less than or equal to 20. And if we solve this, this should be true. This should come with a number that is true. And so let's go 4.3 times 4. We end up seeing that 17.2, which means that after we bought $4 tubes of paint, it only cost $17.20, and that is less than 20. Okay, so that does work out. So she could buy up to 4 tubes of paint. Perfect. That's it. Enjoy. Peace.